Hi everybody, welcome to a brand new series. This is going to be your Reiki series where I'm sharing with you guys everything I'm learning on my journey to becoming a Reiki master. I actually just finished my Reiki certification for level 1 and level 2, so I am now in the process of going through doing a bunch of practice Reiki sessions with the intent of doing Reiki on people for money by probably the end of September. So I'm super excited to be able to start offering that as a part of my energy healing business. But we're going to go into what is Reiki, how did Reiki come about. We're going to talk about what does a session look like. This is your Reiki 101, just download if you're not sure about it. And then from here, we're going to talk more about distance Reiki. What is distance Reiki? How does that work? How is that even a thing? I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't know anything about Reiki up until the past couple years. And over the past couple years, I started to hear about it and I was always fascinated by it because I always was kind of like intuitively doing Reiki on myself. Like whenever I would have something wrong with me, I would kind of just like intuitively send just a lot of like light and love to like a certain area of my body, kind of through my third eye. And I didn't really understand that what I was doing was I was like intuitively doing Reiki on myself just without knowing the official terminology and the symbols and different things like that. So what is Reiki? Reiki is energy healing that allows you to reconnect to the divine, to your higher self. It allows you to realign your chakras. A lot of Reiki practitioners actually go through the process of scanning and attuning your chakras in order to help you be a little bit more in balance. And essentially Reiki, if you break down the word, it stands for Universal Life Force Energy. So Reiki is essentially based on universal life force energy flowing through us, to us, from the divine, from source, from God, kind of whatever you resonate. And so in the process of learning Reiki, each Reiki practitioner is essentially attuned to be able to use certain Reiki symbols. And these Reiki symbols allow you to be able to give different types of healing. So for example, I know some Reiki symbols that are for emotional healing, for power, for grounding, for if you're trying to become a Reiki master. And so essentially through just some different grounding meditation practices, you're able to connect with the person that you're doing Reiki with. You're able to scan their chakras, be able to get a read on what sort of power symbol or what sort of healing or attunement they might need for that session. And then you're able to attune them or reconnect them with life force energy with these different power symbols depending on what it is that they might need to becoming aligned at that time. So a big emphasis on every session being custom based on your own needs. So some people go for Reiki for physical things, sometimes it's emotional, mental, spiritual, a little bit of everything in between for some people. But Reiki essentially has always been here because life force energy has always been here. And a lot of people actually stumble upon Reiki because a lot of people are interested or feel like they can intuitively kind of heal through the laying of hands like Jesus did. And so a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh yeah, I can kind of do that like intuitively. And so a lot of that ties back to this kind of concept of Reiki. You can do sessions where you're touched, sessions where you're not touched. I prefer to do sessions where my hands hover about 18 inches from you, thus allowing the life force energy to flow through me, through my hands, and then into, whatever area of the body that we're working on. So it is energy healing in its truest, in the sense that you may go through an entire session and never actually physically touch your practitioner. It is truly allowing life force energy to work through us, work to us, and allow us to heal one another. So the Reiki that I use is talking about attuning symbols and chakras. That's pretty common when it comes to Reiki. However, there are different types of Reiki practices. So whenever I go through setting up for a Reiki session, what I'll do is first I do some work on myself. So I make sure I do a meditation and a chakra scan and attune anything that may be out of balance for me or maybe, clouding my mind just to get everything, kind of clear and free. Then from there, I like to talk to the person, just tell them a little bit about what Reiki is, how it works, what the session's gonna look like, and answer any questions they have, and then go through any maybe specific areas that they're feeling that they need a little bit of extra love or support, for that session. Then from there, I like to have Reiki music going, as well as like incense if you're into kind of the essential oils and things like that. And then I like to do some breath work and grounding meditation. At this point, the person that I'm doing Reiki on is laying down, I'm standing up, and we're just going through breath work, meditation. We're getting into a really positive headspace. And then from there, I'm going in and I'm scanning each one of the chakras and being able to kind of feel for maybe different areas that there might be some different Reiki need to be sent to different places. Then I go through and do work on each one of the chakras. Normally that lasts, about 35 minutes, about 5 minutes per chakra. We do have 7 chakras. That's give or take. Some of the chakras might be a little bit more imbalanced, and so some maybe take 7 to 10 minutes. Some might take 3 to 5. It just depends upon the chakra, but that's a lot of what it's going to be, is working on aligning those chakras. There also is a method where you can use crystals as well, and you can place 7 crystals on the 7 parts of the body to represent those different chakras, and that way you're incorporating crystal healing as well into the Reiki healing. Okay, so then from there, I actually, after I've done giving all the Reiki energy, I'll close your crown chakra back and kind of in the session, and then we'll just talk about, what you saw, heard, felt, if you had any questions, different things like that. So I wanted to go through with you guys the 5 principles of Reiki, and that is where we are going to end this video as far as your first Reiki 101 video goes. So 5 principles of Reiki. So anybody who's actively practicing Reiki has to commit that these 5 principles are going to be areas that they're going to actively implement in their lives. And most people who are on any sort of spiritual or energy healing journey, a lot of times they've started to integrate these, and this is kind of that additional push to be like, no, you really have to focus on these areas now. So 5 principles of Reiki. Do not be angry. Do not worry. Be grateful. Work with diligence. And be kind to every living thing. And so for me, the be kind to every little living thing has been so profound for me, in the sense of like ants and flowers and, just all these different things, where before I would just, if there was a pile of ants, stomp on them. Now I'm like, oh, nope, are they bothering me? Are they bothering anybody? Nope, I'm gonna let the ants do their thing, and it just put a lot of things into a new perspective for me, and that's just, a tiny example. But the next episode will actually talk more about distance Reiki. We'll talk about how does distance Reiki work, what does a session look like, and we'll really go deep. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and as always, happy healing.